Yo, what up, street dogs? There, Kim. Alright, so the thought. The thought is the effort is the reward. So I'm starting to realize more and more in life is like it seems like some people, like we think that, oh, if we won the lottery or you got your company sold for $2 quadrillion, whatever, somehow we'd be happy. But actually on the contrary, I think actually in life the effort is the reward in itself, which means a life in which everything is just given to you on a silver platter is kind of not a fun, enjoyable, worthwhile life. And it's interesting, you hear stories about like a lot of like entrepreneurs and tech people and stuff like that. Always the building of the thing and the journey is far more important or interesting than the actual sale of it. And Nassim Taleb first kind of said this, is that like he's a little bit suspicious of people who are just trying to build a business in order to just like resell it. And I've kind of like, the more I think about it, that's how you could separate the like fake entrepreneurs from the real entrepreneurs. I think the fake entrepreneurs or fake business people, whatever, their end game is to create a nice looking company and package it in order to sell it to make a quick profit, rather than actually making something that's super awesome and dope, something that they actually really care for. It was funny too because like I'll give you an example. So my first company that I worked at is called Demand Media, and I was an online community manager for essentially social media market for eHow.com. And my ex-CEO Richard Rosenblatt, super cool dude, and I actually really liked him a lot. But yeah, the more I think about it, the whole point or the gist was to make a company that looked pretty tidy, had tidy financials and stuff like that, and then just to sell it, to IPO it and make a quick profit. And it's so funny too because it was like content farm or whatever they call it. Once Google just tweaked the algorithm a little bit, the company essentially just lost like 80% of the revenue. So it was a very fragile company. But anyways, so this is the thing that like, whether you could see it if a company was created out of love and care, or whether something was created just to make a profit, it's pretty simple and obvious. I think typically really great companies are essentially an external manifestation of the creator or the founder. So certainly Tesla is just like externalization of Elon Musk and his personal ideals. Same thing with Apple and Steve Jobs. And this is actually why I'm like very anti-Microsoft, because it's the brainchild of Bill Gates, who I consider kind of a suspicious person. He's just kind of like the uber nerd, and I think all he cared for was business and making money. I mean, that's just my own personal read. And yeah, the more you could psychoanalyze people and just get deeper into the motives of people, you just kind of realize sooner or later over time, people's true colors start to reveal itself through revealed preferences and just the way people act and live their lives. Because like Nassim Taleb says, talk is cheap, walking is expensive, which means you're not really ever going to know what people really think about X, Y, and Z until you see how they actually live their lives in real life, and also what people think or how they act when nobody's watching. Certainly at the end of the day, all morals and ethics are subjective, and there's no I don't really think there's a hierarchy of like a better moral or whatever. It's all, I think it just comes down to the individual, and comes down to the society, it comes down to the culture, whatever it may be. And therefore, as a simple idea, I encourage you and suggest that you just really like try to think for yourself and come up with conclusions which seem savory to you, which seem nice to you, and it's also like spicing your food. Everyone has a different taste in terms of you know, some people like their foods more salty, more sweet, more bitter, more whatever. And who is to say that one person's taste is more legitimate than others? I might be a carnivore, you might be a vegan, whatever. And I think at the end of the day, we should just be maximally tolerant towards the tastes and the aesthetics of others, but at the same time, not letting others superimpose their own personal tastes and aesthetics upon us. Because I know that I'm like super anal and super particular about, you know, my aesthetics, the way I live my life, my clothes, my tools, and my approach, but my way isn't the right way. And it's not my way or the highway, it's just, I'm just sharing my way because it's helped me. It may or may not help you, but even on the odd chance that it might help you, to me it's worth sharing. But once again, everything that you share is just like a suggestion or a tip. It's not some sort of ultimate truth, which a lot of people try to tend towards. And especially the reason why a lot of like sciencey peoples tend not to be good thinkers is that they think that there's somehow some sort of like ultimate truth, where, you know, one theory that just explains everything, kind of like the whole you know, just what's that guy's name, forget his name, but anyways, what's his name, Stephen Hawking, yeah, I think the whole Stephen Hawking striving to find one mathematical formula or theory that explains everything, but I'm like, you know, that's just kind of boring. If you did discover, even if it did exist, you discover one ultimate truth for everything, what purpose or what motivation would humans have to live? So I think life becomes much more interesting when there's subtlety, there's nuance. Same thing with great art, poetry, sculpture, dance, theater, and stuff like that. If one person just figured it out for all humankind for all time, life would kind of suck. And that's why it's tricky when it comes to ideologies. You know, some people who like, you know, I'm for communism, other people for socialism, other people for capitalism, individualism. Any sort of ism seems to be kind of a trap, and I want to become the uber free spirit where ain't nobody superimpose their values upon me. But at the same time, you know, obviously, like, I have my own personal tastes and stuff like that, and I try my best to share these with others. And all of us humans, whether we like it or not, we're very judgy people, and I think that's a good thing. But typically when I judge others, there's a saying in the Catholic church and faith, it's like, don't hate the sinner, hate the sin, or something like that. And so the same thing too is that, like, I try not to, you know, ascribe any sort of moralistic judgment on the individual. It's just like, I don't like the behavior, I don't like the thinking and stuff like that, but I never hate the individual. And that's a subtlety or nuance that I think a lot of people do not understand. So anyways, some practical takeaway points. You know, what's right for you isn't right for somebody else, but there are some things, you know, you kind of share widely your own thoughts, your own personal beliefs. If it may or may not help others, I think it's worth helping and sharing.